Ty Simpson, and you can keep this up so people can digest it, Tucker. Ty Simpson, I put ahead of Peter Woods and Arvell Reese, who's had a monster climb. I put ahead of Jeremiah Love, who's coming off of almost 260 total yards of offense and has been an absolute star for Notre Dame since that first game where he wasn't all that involved in the offense and everyone was left scratching their heads, right? I put him ahead of the top offensive tackle. I put him ahead of Jordan Tyson. Why? And why, much more importantly, because if I'm in the audience, I'm like, McShay, what changed in a week? Because last week when we talked about quarterbacks, it was Dante Moore 1, it was Lenore Sellers 2, and it was Ty Simpson 3. First off, there was not a big gap between them. I still think in terms of the potential, the physical tools and what they can become, you can make an easy argument. Dante Moore 1, Lenore Sellers 1A. Okay, that hasn't changed. I do think it's important to say Dante Moore's made 12 starts in his collegiate career. Lenore Sellers made 19 starts in his collegiate career. Not at that 36 number that we talked about, and the importance of like the vast majority of the 25 starters that you would consider solid in the league, or at least like they appear to be your now or your future in the NFL, had 36 starts, all but 6 of them. 3 were unicorns physically, Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Drake May, and 3 have had a lot of struggles that they've either had to overcome or they're still kind of in the midst. And I'm talking about Sam Darnold, CJ Stroud, and Caleb Williams. Okay. So when I talk about those starts, that's why it's so important. And then you say, all right, you're a hypocrite, Todd. Because I'm looking at Ty Simpson and he's got 7 starts. The reason I feel comfortable about moving him up after just one more game is you got to remember that's like, and they've only played 5 opponents that I would qualify as like quality opponents defensively.
Right.
So you're talking about 20% of the film evaluation on Ty Simpson I just received versus Tennessee. And in addition to that, it's about like 4-game stretch. It's never been done before in the SEC to win 4 straight SEC games against ranked opponents. And most specifically, he's stacking the same tapes, man. I'm coming to the realization, this is just who he is. He's not getting bigger. He's not getting faster, but he's big enough because he maneuvers around well enough and with his feet and his eyes to find open receivers and to do it at a higher level than anyone in the college game. And it reminds me, I have to go back to almost Joe Burrow to remember like a quarterback that I felt this confident with in terms of maneuvering around, finding open receivers, just understanding the pocket, understanding the concepts, what he's looking at defensively, setting his protections, controlling the line of scrimmage. This guy's doing it at a different level than anybody else, and probably anybody else in the last couple of years coming out for the NFL draft. And so it's only 7 starts. But I just see the consistency. And by the way, the more tape I study, I don't have any concerns about his arm. So size just hasn't become that big of a thing. If the number 1 overall pick is like, we saw Bryce Young, he's not all that big, and we'll see if it all pans out. We've seen from Drew Brees to Russell Wilson, like size is kind of in the past when immobile quarterbacks, you wanted 6'4", 220, pocket passers, all those things. Different league. And so Ty Simpson, while he's not the biggest cat in the world, he's not the fastest. I think his pocket presence and his pocket maneuverability is outstanding. I see him tuck the ball and run when he needs to. I'm sold. It's going to take something to change on tape for me to remove Ty Simpson as my number 1 quarterback in this class. And I still can love Dante Moore and what his potential is. And I can still be over the moon with Lenore Sellers physically and some of the developmental stuff I've seen from him. But I'm a Ty guy now. Take it wherever you want, Steve.
I'm gonna get to Ty in a minute because I'd like to have a word about Ty. I want to get to the first overall. Did you consider you talked about Caleb Downs and you talked about Ruben Bain. Did you consider Arvell Reese or Jeremiah Love as the top guy on your board?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little, and again, a lot of contradictions, it feels like. Edge rushers, man, right? Like outside of quarterback, what's a more premium position? But a board shouldn't necessarily be rated as that. I love Both those players. I really do. Jeremiah is an absolute star. I just don't like drafting running backs that high. I don't like drafting running backs as high as I have Jeremiah Love sitting at number 6 overall. Off-ball linebackers. It is interesting with Arvell Reese. I told you from the Minnesota game, and I was on the phone with Dan going through some notes on this the other day, and I'm like, I talked about Minnesota and how Reese is now being deployed as an edge rusher more. And you could see, like, let's get him settled in at off-the-ball linebacker, and then let's start to expand his role a little bit. And Matt Patricia has done that. But I hadn't yet watched this previous game. So I went PFF Ultimate, matched it up with the Catapult, best system in the world. My God, like, how did we live as evaluators prior to that system?
I know.
I popped on. It was like his 16 key plays or whatever it was from last week's game. Like 3 or 4 of them are rushing off the edge. And if you follow me on X, it's McShay at McShay13. And follow Mensch as well at You Good Mensch. I've showed it, like, it was one of like 3 clips that I ripped through in like the first 8 plays of the key plays, and he's standing up a right tackle and driving him back into the quarterback. And so now you talk about that long frame and the speed and the power and the ability to cover. And you look at like the linebacker class, there haven't been a lot of them. There have not been a lot of them to go in the first round, period. Okay. Jahad Campbell went 31 this year. Jack Campbell went 18, and everyone mocked them. By the way, I watched Dan Campbell giving him the game ball this past week. He's been awesome. Quay Walker, number 22, and 20, but that's back in 2022. There were no off-the-ball linebackers drafted in 2024 in the first round. 2023 had Jack Campbell, just one of them. 2022 had 2 of them. Quay Walker at 22, Devin Lloyd at 27. Okay. Then you go back to Micah Parsons, who played both at Penn State and played a little bit at Dallas but like became an edge. So like put an asterisk next to his name. But that was 2021 if you want to include him. And Jamin Davis was 19th overall that year. You got to go back to Isaiah Simmons in 2020 to get an off-the-ball linebacker that was drafted in the top 10. He went 8th overall. So, yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say I put a tiny bit of stock into these guys. Running back and off-ball linebacker don't go that high. But then again, like, safeties don't go that high too. So the weird part is those are 3 players in my top 6, Steve. Right. Non-priority positions. And that makes it a little tricky, right?
I hear you. It was intriguing to me. And I feel like you're stalling. So I'm going to get right into the guys that you were too high on.
Why am I stalling? Ready? Go ahead. Yeah.
Because we're going to run out of time before I can rip into you. McShay.
Yes.
Mr. Quarterback starts. Mr. This guy's got to have this many starts. Basically built the Bill Parcells of the draft space now. Are you kidding me with Ty Simpson at 3? Are you kidding? If only, Todd, we had an example of a junior quarterback at Alabama taking over as the starter, waiting his time and taking over as a starter and having a monster season. If only we had that example in recent history. Oh, wait, we do. Mac Jones completed 77% of his passes for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Natty won the Natty.
Yeah, he had 4 wide receivers that were first-round draft. Actually, I don't know how many.
No, he didn't. Jalen Waddle only played in 6 games that year, buddy.
Okay.
Jalen Waddle played in 6 games. Devontae Smith was lights out. John Mechie was good. Not
Ty
great.
Ty Simpson plays the game at such a higher level than Mac Jones ever did and ever will.
I agree with you. Okay. I agree with you when you're looking at the tape. I also would like you to acknowledge that the Mac Jones story should scare the absolute shit out of you, and you're lying if it doesn't. It absolutely should scare you because all I hear about you is starts. So it should at least
start.
Yes, yeah, that's all I've heard. Starts. You should at least.
But that's why I'm.
Pause. And the idea that you have Lenora Sellers as quarterback 3 at 11 overall is comical.
Okay.
Comical. You're going to put Ty Simpson ahead of him. That doesn't mean I don't love Ty Simpson or think that he's been outstanding this year. But if you can't stand by your principles only when it's comfortable, man. You know that history has told us that he needs to go back and get more time. And I hope he does because he has been lights out this year. And if he does come out, if I was a GM, I'd have a hard time not taking him early. Like, don't get me wrong, Ty Simpson's looked awesome. But I just saw this with Mac Jones. And yes, I think he's better than Mac Jones. I think he moves better than Mac Jones. I think he has more, we talk about how he's not a great athlete and all that stuff. I think he's more tools than Mac Jones. But dude, Mac Jones numbers, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, that is a monster year. A monster year.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done. That one felt good.
You're not wrong with your premise, but you're wrong.
This is the one. You always got the outlier. You love the outliers. Here's your outlier.
Uh-huh. You done? You still done?
No, if you keep it up, I'm not going to stop.
I'm telling you, I haven't seen tape like this since Burrow.
It's good.
No.
It's really good.
Nah, it's not good.
So Jaden Daniels.
It's absolutely sensational.
Jaden Daniels 2 years
Jaden
ago.
Daniels is a different cat, man. Yeah, I'm
go.
saying no. Hear me. Jaden Daniels isn't a comp. Jaden Daniels rolls out of bed and runs a 4.38. Like Jaden Daniels is like, I'm talking about the way the style of play.
Okay.
And the control and the NFL readiness despite 7 starts. I'm talking about leading receivers. I'm talking about putting the ball in spots. I'm talking about maneuvering inside the pocket. I'm talking about control at the line of scrimmage. Understanding the coverages. He's a rarity. I don't know what else to tell you. He's a rarity. It's like this breath of fresh air. And yet, would I rather have 4.35 or Drake May's size with his mobility? Of course. I'm just telling you.
I would argue that too, by the way. Tell me that size doesn't matter, and tell me that these guys who have the Tuas of the world don't want a Drake May or a Justin Herbert or a Josh Allen. Guys would prefer those taller quarterbacks.
No question.
They'll give up. Now, I will say this. What's changed in the league is mobility is more important than size, right?
Yes.
Mobility is more important than size. I will
totally
agree with that. And it's come down and you can get away with it, a lot of it. But for every Drew Brees and, if you want to throw Tua in there or Baker in there, there's a lot of other, they still want guys 6'2" or taller. And I think Simpson's listed at 6'2", right?
I think it's more important, quite honestly, thicker than it is even taller.
Yeah, that good build.
Do you know what I mean?
You take a beating in this league, man.
None of the other abilities matter unless you got availability. And
right.
Baker gets his ass handed to him every week. My son is a Bucks fan. He started with Brady and he carried it over. And so I watched more Bucks than I probably want to at times. And I'm like, how is he still on the field? But he's thick. He's like Mateer. There's certain guys that just have almost but yeah. And do I want him to be those things? Do I want him to be 6'4"? Yeah. Do I want him to be thicker and have, yeah. But he's not. But he still can play the game. I mean, Joe Burrow. Look at Joe Burrow. He's taller, but he's unassuming physically. What else jumps out at you? Because I know. Here's the thing. The beauty of this with Ty Simpson. I actually know I'm right.
Just so arrogant. So I mean, listen. I hope you're right.
It's not me. He's providing the arrogance for me.
I understand. It's just a small sample size. I want to see more, and I hear you.
I agree. I want to make
everything you're saying about the player. Everything you say about the player, I agree with. Go ahead. Sorry.
I do think he's going to be back next year. I think he's going to be making $4+ million. It's going to be no different than being a top 10 draft pick. Very and NIL. He gets to send his dad, who's an 18-year head coach, head coach at Tennessee Martin. He gets to send the private plane for him. His brother sounds like it might wind up at Bama, so they could have an overlap year. His two of his best friends are on the team, including Ryan Williams, a star wide receiver.
So cool.
Yeah, this is going to probably be a 2-year run. So I get to talk about this the rest of this year. He gets to tell the world he's coming back to Alabama. We get to re-rack this whole thing next year. I'm fired up. And he's going to be in the class with maybe Lenoris, with maybe, I hope Dante Moore, because Dante's not ready. The messed up part about this is Dante's been in college football for 3 years, got 5 starts his first year, got to sit back with Will Stein, and he is absolutely phenomenal as a quarterback. He's the best, I think, like skill-wise as a passer. I think he might be the best passer in the class.
I think that's fair.
Catchable ball, hitting spot. Like he if he continues to develop, he could be the best passer from this class. Ty Simpson's the best quarterback. And I think he's going to get another year, and that would be awesome. And if all 3 of those guys go back, yeah, it's like, who are we talking? Is it Mendoza, or is he going back to IU, which he very well could, and I think he actually should, despite having more starts than these other guys. My guess is I've got 4 guys here at quarterback, Mendoza being the 4th, all in the top 14, as I mentioned, and as you saw on that graphic. 3 of them wind up back at school next year, if I had to guess right now. I think Sellers could wind up leaving, even though he might not be completely ready, but his mobility will get him out of trouble early in his career. And I just wonder if South Carolina is going to be able to keep him there with what's gone on there this year. Maybe it's a transfer. Maybe it's come back to South Carolina and they put a better offensive line in front of him. I think Dante Moore will be back. I think Ty Simpson will be back. I have no idea what Mendoza's leaning. I don't know specifically on any of these guys per se, but yeah, it's going to be fast. January is going to be a massive month for NFL general managers. Remember, there's 2 of them already that have 2 first-round picks. Right. Andrew Berry in Cleveland, if he's still the general manager. And the Rams, well, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I know.
We got a good friend out in LA who's the general manager who's ready to go and find the successor to Matthew Stafford. Right?
Yeah.